I recently saw a top 10 sci-fi women list, and it was just crap. I mean, it had the chick from Hunger Games in it. I don't get it. So, I thought I'd do my own. Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Let's get straight into this. Nichols, Lieutenant Uhura, Star Trek the original series and then the following movies. Not only was this woman kick-ass in the series, she was actually in a prominent role, which was really the first time for a major network television show, particularly at that time period. She was brave enough to do the storylines like the Kirk kiss, and she was a phenomenally talented actress, singer, performer. The character, though, it wasn't just that she was a talented and capable officer. She actually stepped up and did the job a few times. Now, even though Uhura's character in Star Trek was still a little bit in the background, in the newer series, she stepped up. In the J.J. Abrams movies, she was a far more formidable character. But the Nichols, it's because of the time. It's because of how brave she was to even take on the role and then actually fight for the role that really, really impressed me. And obviously, Nichols' passing recently is another reason why I wanted to add it to the list. The one story, though, about Nichols that I love the most is that after the end of the first season, she was generally considering leaving Star Trek. She really wanted to get into Broadway, and she generally thought her character was kind of being pushed a little bit more into the background anyway. But then she saw Martin Luther King at a party. It turned out that Dr. King was a Trekkie. When Nichols told him that she was thinking about leaving, he not only said that she shouldn't leave, he told her that he couldn't. He told her Uhura was a role model for an entire generation of young black women, and that it was her duty to continue playing the role. So, of course, how do you argue with Martin Luther King? She didn't, and we got one of the finest female characters in all of sci-fi. Number 4, I went with a Star Wars character, and it's not the one you think. Because, yes, I could have gone the easy route, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. That is the route that they went on this list that I watched that I really didn't like. I went a slightly different way. Rogue One is one of the most interesting Star Wars movies made under the Disney era. You could actually argue it's the only interesting Star Wars movie made in the Disney era, but I'm not going to open that can of worms. I just thought this was such a clever movie, maybe a bit long. It could have been edited a little bit more to make it a little punchier, but it was just such a clever film. It was so clever how it ran into the New Hope movie. They got the style right, I thought. The end scene with Darth Vader was just... But another reason why I love the movie was Jyn Erso. Her character was formidable. Now, none of the women on my list are characters with superpowers or special abilities or anything like that. They're all characters that just throw themselves 100% into fighting against a problem. None more so than Urso. Now, her parents were killed by the Empire. Her motivations were not complicated. They were pretty simple. Revenge. But she was willing to do anything it took, including sacrificing herself to get what she wanted, to hurt the Empire. Now, she was phenomenally good in this movie. Her character was well-rounded. She was played by an amazing actress, and I just loved everything about this entire film. I love that it's spun off into the series that we got to see Andor. It's a shame we're not going to see Urso in that, unless they change canon. This is Disney, so they might. I have now leaned back into this list that I saw and go into 2 characters that really deserve to be in any list again of male or female great sci-fi characters. First of all, I've gone with Ellen Ripley. Now, Sigourney Weaver's character in this was really one of the first times I ever really remember seeing a sort of hardcore action female character. She could do anything the men could do, and a lot of the time, do it much, much better. She was intelligent, she was a bit feisty, and she was determined. When she came up against an enemy, she stood up. She fought back, not just with her brawn, but with her intelligence. Sigourney Weaver, who is a formidable lady herself, played this character perfectly. In Alien, and then more so in Aliens, we got to really see what Ripley was all about. And even the Space Marines stopped and took notice. She was formidable. She was one of the first female characters to not just run around screaming. And I just love that it didn't matter that she was a female character. She was just a powerful one. Sarah Connor is obviously going to be in at number 2, mainly because of Terminator 2, but also because of the following TV series that got so cruelly cut short. The whole sort of idea of Terminator 2 was that it was supposed to be completely different to the Terminator movie in lots and lots of ways, and none more so than Sarah Connor's character. It really epitomized the change that she went from that doe-eyed, big hair, 80s sort of traditional, really sort of female character in a way, to an action hero. Now, in the first Terminator movie, we did get to see Sarah Connor's character develop to the point, actually, that the Sarah Connor we then got to see in Terminator 2 completely made sense. It was 100% logical that she would go that way and that she would go a bit crazy in the process. In the TV series, we got to see that developed even further, and I was gutted when that got cancelled because even the guy from 90210 that was in it was pretty good. Sarah Connor was all about protecting John at any cost. Whatever happened to her didn't matter as long as John survived. I cannot do anything but respect a character and any person I ever meet in real life that has that kind of attitude and that kind of drive. I find it incredibly impressive and incredibly inspiring because that is the one thing about all of the women on this list. They are inspirational. Even though at times they lean into some of the female stereotypes and then go beyond them, all of these characters were written as just brilliant characters. It didn't matter that they were female. But who is top of my list? Who is my favourite female character in all of sci-fi? The one that I think kicked ass best. Of course it's Samantha Carter. I mean, hello? You can get this t-shirt on sidestrek.com, by the way. She was phenomenal. How many characters in any of sci-fi do you know blew up a star? There's not many. I love this character mainly because she came in very early on and stamped her authority. That by calling her Sam, O'Neill thought he was going to be a guy. She stamped on him immediately when he made any suggestion of such thought.
I'm an Air Force officer just like you are, Colonel. And just because my reproductive organs are on the inside instead of the outside, doesn't mean I can't handle whatever you can handle.
And actually, he wasn't being sexist at that time. He just doesn't like scientists. And now, early on in SG-1, there were a couple of episodes, like Emancipation, that did make the point that Samantha Carter was a woman, but that she was still a very capable officer.
What the Colonel is saying is, have you ever pulled out of a simulated bombing run in an F-16 at 8+ Gs?
Yes.
Well, it's way worse than that.
The gender agenda was kind of evident in a couple of those episodes, but they moved on from it quickly. Samantha Carter just became a pivotal member of SG-1. It didn't matter that she was a woman. She was just as good a shot as anybody else on the team. She was just as good a warrior as anyone on the team. And she was a damn sight smarter than anybody on the team. But in honesty, she had her flaws. She had her weaknesses, that her job was the most important thing in her life. And that really didn't leave time for an emotional love life, however much she wanted one. She loved O'Neill, but that was forbidden fruit. She had emotion at times, but she was also willing to do what needed to be done. Samantha Carter is not just one of the greatest female characters in all of sci-fi. She's one of the greatest characters, full stop, in all of sci-fi. But guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think about my list of my favorite top 5 female kick-ass characters in all of sci-fi. I'd love to know what your list would be. Where am I right? Where am I wrong? Get into the comments and tell me. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification so you never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first. And for a small contribution each month, you get to see them without the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time. I've just been editing this video, and I've just realized I've made a horrible error. Zoe Washburn needs to be on this list. She was an incredibly powerful woman and one that I would not want to meet down a dark alley. She was more terrifying even than Jane on the series of Firefly. I think Jane was actually scared of her. I know Wash was. So yeah, I'm going to drop the chick from Star Wars, even though she was brilliant and deserves to be on the list. I'm going to drop the chick from Star Wars and I'm going to throw Zoe Washburn from Firefly in at number 4. Done. I've done it.